Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. Welcome to today's second panel discussion titled "What support do persons with disability need to work on the open labor market?" I'm Antonio Garcia. I came from Spain, from Fundación Espurna. Fundación Espurna is dedicated to supporting persons with intellectual disabilities in Valencia. Valencia is the far west of the Mediterranean coast, far west from here, in Spain. We provide services for all kinds of services for persons with intellectual disability, occupational centers, daycare centers, work, housing. We have more than 100 individuals living with us, supporting with them in houses. And we also promote sport, leisure, and activities for more than 300 persons. A commercial break. If you want to know more about labor enclaves, tomorrow at this time in this place, about how to include persons with intellectual disabilities in labor enclaves. Break. Commercial. On personal note, I'm labor lawyer. I'm co-chair of member forum of employment here in ESPD. And I'm volunteer myself as a secretary of the board of Fundación Espurna. And also I'm a researcher of the labor rights of persons with intellectual disabilities or in employment. But I think my most I'm more linked with this panel because I'm a rugby player in a inclusive rugby team. I'm enabler, and the persons who go there to play, it's to play sports and to fun. But also the enablers has another role, which is look for the talent. We look for the skills, for the capacities, and then with all the persons do a team. It's our role. So I think it's the main reason I'm here. In this panel, we aim to foster a valuable discussion on how in different countries they address the meaningful employment opportunities for persons with disabilities. We particularly, I'm thinking it's very exciting how different approaches are from this area. Each example offers, they will provide, offers unique strategies and innovations to support people with disabilities. In Malta, for example, the Lino Spiteri Foundation focuses on job carving. In ELEPAP, in Greece, they will speak about the Braving program from Samhall from Sweden. A state-owned company aims to at least 1,500 employees each year to go to open labor market. They aim to and finally we learn from EMINO, which takes a based on approach promoting the idea of individual mat work by focusing on the potential of each individual. This isn't about employment only. It's about recognizing talents, recognizing capacities, and the unique potential of each person. I think it's inspiring to see how organizations and professionals are challenging with traditional barriers and creating environments where everyone's abilities are valued and put into meaningful use. Today's panel will highlight real stories of resilience, innovation, and the power of inclusive employment. I will hear from professionals and individuals who have overcome challenges and succeed by focusing on what everyone can do. We start with 3 minutes of presentation of each one, and then I will start with my questions, and then we will continue with your questions. So Esmeralda, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. So yes, I'm Esmeralda, representing the Lino Spiteri Foundation in Malta. Very happy to be here and very honored. We were born around 9 years ago as a foundation. We're a private-public partnership, if you may, a PPP. So we are autonomous because we are also private. However, we are linked and tied with the National Agency for Employment in Malta and the government. So what spurred the growth of the inception of the foundation was the 2% quota law. I'm not sure where you stand here in Greece, but in Malta, it was enforced around 9 years ago. And that means that a person who is employing an employer that's employing more than 20 people full-time needs to have 2% of their staff, which are disabled persons. And therefore, the government decided to set up a foundation like ours so that we can, on the side, supplement enterprises as well as persons with disability with services in order for them to find jobs. That was the beginning of the story of LSF. Fast forward to 9 years, which is today. We have 3 units in the main in our foundation. One of the units is the corporate relations, and they work with local enterprises. So all the private enterprises in Malta come to us or we go to them in order to support them with creating jobs. We also have the unit for profiling and guidance. They work directly with the persons with disability. We profile them. We see where their abilities are and where their weaknesses are, and we work towards making them more marketable and ready for a job. And the third pillar is the job coaching pillar. Those kick in, the job coaches kick in once the employment becomes more visible. So in pre-employment stages and also in employment stages for job maintenance, which is many of the things that have been mentioned here today. Around 6 years or 5 years ago, we were nominated for job carving and job coaching. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we're here as a best practice in Europe. And we were part of the EU, the white paper on job carving and crafting for other EU countries, if that makes sense. So is that...
Okay, thank you very much. And then we will continue with job carving. And then Vassilis.
Good morning to everybody. My name is Vassilis Gerogiannis, and I apologize, I will speak in Greek.
Yes, perfect.
My English is not so good.
I'm 46 years old. I'll say a few things about me. I am Vassilis Gerogiannis. About 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I had a road accident and I suffered brain damage as a result thereof. So I was hospitalized in an ICU of a hospital. Now, that was very tough for me, and I don't remember the first 6 months of my hospitalization, for that matter. And that made it tougher for me to work. I wanted to work, and I was saying I want to work, and I would attend sessions at ELEPAP, and I kept telling almost everyone I was obsessing about the fact that I wanted to go back to work. Still, I wasn't ready to go back to work. I was neither ready emotionally, psychologically, or physically to go back to work. The dream team of ELEPAP really helped me in all those fields, and my condition improved. And in order for me to get better, I had first to come to terms with the fact that I couldn't go back to work. I have to say that even as we speak, I haven't come to terms with this situation. Not 100%. Still, I've been making progress thanks to the experts of ELEPAP, and that's how I'm here. And I'm talking to you about the fact that I'm working, because I found a job in the meantime. In 2 months, I will be celebrating 3 years in this new job, and I had to change the field of work. I used to be a waiter. Now I am working at a call center, and I'm selling services. So instead of having customers come to me for me to wait on them, now I'm going to the clients. I'm looking for them. Now, I found out about this. I was retrained. I was upskilled thanks to ELEPAP. ELEPAP taught me how to never give up. And I used to be frustrated, but this has changed now, especially as a result of my attending ELEPAP sessions. There's a self-awareness class. I'm very happy I'm taking that. And this ELEPAP sessions have helped me improve my attitude. So this was a very difficult situation overall. I have to insist on that. But ELEPAP helped me pave the way for a change, and I laid a new foundation. I keep telling the people of ELEPAP that I had to lay a new foundation. I had to start at the basis in order for me to build on the foundations, meaning I would eventually, once I got the right foundation in place, I would go to work. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, this is still something between a nightmare and a dream. How can I put it? It keeps alternating. One state of mind is replaced by the next, so it's still flashes of being very happy or disappointed. Despite that, I am really happy to be sharing with you, dear friends, and thank you for gracing us with your presence. I'm happy to share with you that. To begin with, ELEPAP taught me that next to the emotional and the psychological aspect of things, I am not a pariah. That's what they taught me. I never felt like I was lagging behind or I was anything less than everyone else who was there, instructors and beneficiaries included. So ELEPAP really helped me get back on track. And as I said, I am coming to terms with my situation. I'm not giving up. And for the past few years, I've been planning for my future. So this is also part of my improvement. I'm making long-term and short-term plans. This is like a movie. This is like a book too. What I've been through, thanks to ELEPAP, what I've learned. This is a trilogy to me. There was the accident, then the rehabilitation and acceptance of my new situation, then what comes after? So this is the third prong of the trilogy. I'm dealing with the after, and that's why I'm happy to share that I've been working in the same job for the past 3 years. Despite the difficult circumstances, I will keep going. Thank you.
And now, Christalena Kattami.
Thank you. I'm Christalena Kattami. I'm a vocational rehabilitation counselor, and I am representing ELEPAP, the Hellenic Society for Disabled People in Greece. It's an organization which started its work in 1937. Until now, it comes to cover rehabilitation from the age of 2 months old for our babies to grown-ups with the programs of neuropsychological rehabilitation for acquired brain injuries. ELEPAP always tries to fit and cover limitations or things that are not being covered by the state, with innovative programs, with programs for babies, but also with adults. My personal commitment is to enhance, to let brain injuries, which is also called a silent epidemic, to be known, for people to have the awareness of what it takes, and also to support and implement our new part, the Braving program, which exactly depicts and helps for the employability of people after they have completed their rehabilitation or when they feel ready to return to their work after a brain injury. Thank you.
Albin, thank you.
Thank you. So My name is Albin Falkmer, and I represent the Swedish state-owned company Samhall. We have about 25,000 employees with all kinds of disabilities in all parts of Sweden. The only way to get a job at Samhall, that is if the public employment services, they decide that you have a disability that causes reduced working capacity. You must have tried every other relevant labor market policy measure offered by the public. Only then you can get a job at Samhall. And our employees works in all kinds of business sectors. The only thing that limits us is, well, the capacities and skills of our employees. So we work with everything from cleaning IKEA warehouses, working directly in the Volvo assembly line in the factories. We are assisting nurses in the elderly care. We have 25 occupational roles in all kinds of business sectors all over Sweden. And all of our employees, they are, of course, mentored and led by us in the workplaces, although they work in our customers' assignments. So they work, for example, in IKEA warehouses, but we provide the daily leadership and have the contact with the customers. So that is like our main operations, but the key target for Samhall, that is that as many as possible of our employees shall leave us for new jobs with other employers outside Samhall. So you could say that the whole mechanism is that we employ people with disabilities who can't find any other jobs. We train, educate them, build self-esteem, motivate, so they hopefully can find a new job outside Samhall. The target is that 1,500 employees every year shall leave us for new jobs, make a transition to another employer. And most often we fulfill that target. And well, I can come back on that in the later segment, but I can also say that if you want to learn more about Samhall, there is a workshop tomorrow about state aid, where I will present Samhall a bit deeper. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now from Belgium, Christel.
Hello, I'm Christel Witgeers. I'm the general manager of EMINO. EMINO provides social services to unemployment to employees and also to employers. But I can tell you a lot of interesting things about EMINO, but today I'm here as the employer of Patrick and the ambassador of the individual maatwerk in Flanders. As you can see in Flanders, they have a campaign that's called Pracht van een werkkracht. And when we translate it, it's called Splendid Workforce. And with this campaign, the governments want to inform the employers with information about and want to enforce the employment of people with disabilities in Flanders. We are chosen to be the ambassadors of the campaign. And I want to tell you a bit about the campaign and about het individueel maatwerk. Individueel maatwerk, it provides financial incentives for employers and also a lot of tools to provide and to implement the supported employment on the job. Actually, it gives the financial incentives for employers. They can make the choice to do it by themselves, to provide supported employment, or to buy social services. When they buy social services, they get an expert of supported employment. They buy the expertise of a job coach. And then the job coach is on the job to support the employee, but also the company and the employer. It gives us the possibility to align the needs of the company with the needs of the person with disabilities. I told you I was here as the employer. Patrick is one of our employees. We have 250 employees in EMINO. Patrick is one of them. He's not a job coach, but I would like to give the word to Patrick so he can tell his story and he can tell what his job in our company is.
Thank you, Christel. I'm Patrick and I work for EMINO. Uh, my story, it starts, I think, 23 years ago. I came from the school and I must to find a job. And I learned on the school, I was a gardener. Was 22 years old. And then, yeah, I have a disability. And I think, oh, I find a job as a gardener. It's not so easy. It's not so easy to want a gardener to die 65 years old. This it's now I'm change anything. It's now or never. And I came to EMINO and I said I have a dream, and I have a dream to do it with PCs or bureaucratic jobs. And yeah, I learned about things to do with PCs. And yeah, it was the first time I feel I'm understand what I do. The Word, Excel, it was a little bit, yeah, like it was on a kindergarten. I understand what I do. And yeah, we grew up, we see every time to my talents. And yes, I can say I'm now 23 years later. I'm always by EMINO, and I'm starting as an administration simply man. And now, 23 years later, I'm the ICT manager of EMINO.
Thank you very much for everyone, because we have used less time, so we can expand our conversation. So now, Esmeralda, please, you speak about job carving, and the first time I heard about that was a month ago. So I really like this idea. So if you please can expand it and explain it to the audience.
Yes, job carving proved to be the most important, or one of the most important methods for us to secure jobs for persons with disability. Usually the market, the local labor market, has its own vacancies like accountant, doctor, gardener, and the expectation is that people in the market fill those vacancies. What job carving does is turn everything on its head. So you carve a job to fit the employee or the future employee, which would be part of our database. So a person with a disability, we know what their wishes are for a career. We know what their strengths and limitations are. We walk into an industry or into a sector, be it hospitality or IT, finance, or whatever. We look at what jobs they have, and we take the pieces and the tasks, we line them up, and then we say, okay, we can create a job that includes A, C, D of these tasks. You create a totally new job. You get the agreement of the employer, because ultimately they need to employ. And once they do, we start referring candidates that we feel would fit into this carved job. So it's rather than having a vacancy off the shelf and expecting that a person fits it, you create a job with a person or with a set of abilities and limitations in mind. That is carving.
Thank you very much. And now, Vassilis, my question is, can you share your personal experience entering in the open labor market? What support most beneficial to you, and what challenges you overcome?
Η μεγαλύτερη πρόκληση
The worst challenge that I had to deal with going for the first time on the 14th December 2021 after an interview with, I had an interview for the job earlier, and actually this interview was taken in the ELEPAP building, where I had my sessions, my counseling sessions. Now, despite my short-term and long-term memory issues that I have, I'll never forget the stress I felt, the insecurity, the anxiety before I linked in the computer to have my online interview. Nonetheless, I don't want to forget, and I will never forget. The support that I had from the dream team of ELEPAP, mentally, psychologically, and intellectually, I saw it as an interesting challenge, to tell you the truth, regarding what you asked me. Because there's still lack of planning, as well as attention deficit, horizontally and vertically. What I was taught and what I learned in ELEPAP is how to act under difficult circumstances, difficult conditions. Believe me. Being open to indications helps me a lot. It's something that has helped me remain robust in difficult working conditions. Let me give you an example briefly. When I called in the beginning, I wouldn't write down the name of the customer, of the prospect, and I tried to remember the name. And instead of Yorgos, I would call him. Instead of John, I would call them George. And then in 1 minute, you would lose your prospect immediately, because you lose their trust and confidence, as you can't remember the correct name. So when you can't remember the name, people don't trust you. So writing down all the leads is very important, and being open to leads, because I would get the leads, and it's been very helpful for me, so that I can move on and not to feel too stressed to progress. This is my guide. And another key thing for me is to organize things well, what the situation is, how it has emerged, what I want to do. Whether you want to go to China or to buy lunch, you only need to take one step, and then another one, another one. These gradual steps, mentally, psychologically, and emotionally, have been organized for me through the ELEPAP work, and I fully assimilated them. This is what I believe, Mrs. Kattami. I have assimilated them and learned them well.
That's right.
Wider, what specific support strategies and are proven most effective in helping persons with disabilities in Athens and thrive in the open labor market?
Okay. Thank you for to give me the chance to speak about acquired disabilities, which is a specific, a different kind of need different kind of intervention, and especially brain injuries, which comprise the major part of acquired disabilities. What we have to think about, and that's how our program it is based on, is that our brain injury is a very complex disease that is happening on the most complex organ on our body, which also controls all of our functioning. It is also, we need to remember that what is happening, it happens in an instant. It's a sudden event that have consequences for the whole life of the person. So the way to deal with it is, first of all, to know very well the probable difficulties that the person can face, which can start from the cognitive difficulties, starting from basic attention and concentration, memory, perception, speed processing, communication, and higher cognitive tasks like programming, flexibility of thinking, and all those issues are coupled with difficulties with emotion and difficulties with behavior. It's also, we need to also think that a person wants to go back to work and wants to be able to adjust again with a brain that has some more limited capacities or in the process of trying to recuperate. So the dream team has to have all those things in mind, but also they have to have in mind that the brain injury is unique and the person is unique. They have to find out all those knowledge, experience, work habits, personality traits, which made this man or woman to reach their work fulfillment, to reach that they have reached in their lives, and to capitalize on them. So what we must do? First of all, we need to assess, to find out what are the issues that we have to look, to care. Then we have to explain to the person what's his picture today of his work abilities and make a combined decision, a mutual agreement. Most of the time is the counselors with the person and maybe their significant others on what will be the best course of action. Should we need to have further rehabilitation, neuropsychological rehabilitation? Is he ready to enter our new Brave-in program, which is has to deal specifically with employability, or he is ready to go to work and he requires some personalized assistance in order to make this step and these steps to be productive and end up in a success. So we make such an important decision. And if he joins our Brave-in program, what he will have a very systematic program for cognitive remediation and with specific tasks in an open environment, in a group environment, resembling a work setting. He will get a lot of group work, and one of those is the seminar on personal awareness and awareness of the issues that I will have to face when entering my job. And in this work, he will learn the difficulties, the ways to compensate and exercise those strategies in order to become automatic and be useful when he enters the employment. A very big work, and we are very focused in help the person make goals, everyday goals, how to implement them, and at the end, how I can be able to see how well I did it in order to be able to find new solutions if things doesn't work the way I want. Finally, we have a lot of group exercises that has to do with the role playing, with how I will go through an interview, how I will present myself, how I will practice my speech. One of our candidates in the program. Today, he's speaking on a conference in Crete. So all the group listened to his speech, gave feedback, learned to give and take constructive feedback, and enhance my feeling of success. Another important part of our program is the personal counseling. This is the alliance between the counselor and the person in order to help him make the new decision what my job course is going to be. Because sometimes we have to resettle to a new job issue.
Okay, thank you. Albin. My question to you is, you have said 1,500 persons transitioning to open labor market every year.
Yes.
Could you say, how do you do that, and any advice for the others?
Of course. So I would say that it's built upon like 3 key success factors. The first one is of course finding the right job for the right person. And over the years, we have matched 250,000 people with disabilities to real jobs on the open labor market. And by doing this, we have learned which skills and capacities is important in order to get or to keep a job at the Swedish labor market. And so we have refined this model out of 16 capacities that is crucial to have in some way. And we have this working capacity assessment tool that all of our employees need to work with, where we assess which skills and capacities do you have, but we never talk about the disabilities, never talk about the downsides at all. We actually never even register what kind of disabilities our employees have and what kind of limitations they have, only focus on the possibilities and the skills and capacities. So then we have a profile of the strengths of all our employees. And then when we look into new job openings, we see which employees to have these skills so they can fulfill these criteria for these new jobs. So the first one is, of course, to find the right person for the right job. But the second one, which is maybe the most important one, is that we have to be a bit flexible and have respect for, to start a new job. It's scary for everyone. It's really scary for me to start a new job as well, and to prepare people for getting a new job and to give up the safety that we provide at Samhall. We have really safe contracts. We are not allowed to let people go due to lack of business, for example. The lowest salary in Samhall is roughly 2,400 euro a month. So it's quite good salary as well. So to give up this for something new and maybe more unsafe, it may be quite hard. So we work with training programs that our employees, they are able to work for a couple of weeks or maybe a few months for the new employer. And then all of our employees have in their contracts that if they leave Samhall for a new job, they are allowed to return within 1 year. Otherwise, not that many would have the courage to take this huge leap, which is it is to find a new job. So everyone has the right to return within 1 year. And then the last one is, I think, to focus on the mission all the time. We know that not every one of our employees can leave us for new jobs. Probably most of them should not. They probably, most of our employees need the long-term employment for Samhall for the rest of their working life. But we still have the focus for the whole company that everyone should be able to develop their skills and capacities in order to one day find a new job outside Samhall. So that's the main focus. And all of our managers, the first level managers, which we have about 900 of in the municipalities, they have in their budgets and scorecards, they have how many of their employees in their team that shall leave us every year for new jobs. So it's followed up on all levels, and we focus on this a lot. And we also build some kind of how to say, we motivate the whole organization a lot by providing insights on how important it is to work with transitions, both out of the social perspective, of course, that we assist people in getting new opportunities in the open labor market, but also the benefits for the society. I have recently made a study where we had some economics calculating the return on investment of Samhall's operations, and we saw that for a person that is getting employed by Samhall and then leaves us for a new job, the return on investment for the state is more than 20 times the money that they invest in Samhall. So it's amazing figures, and this builds motivation and it motivates our organization a lot when they see that they contribute a lot. It's at least 200,000 euros in savings and increased productivity for the society when a person leaves us for a new job.
Thank you very much. Now, Christel, you and Patrick are publicity stars, and I like the idea of a splendid workforce. If you want to explain us something about that, or if you prefer to speak about the individual work program.
Yes, for us, it's important. Patrick is now more than 20 years in our company. That means that our company changed a lot. The management changes. Also, the skills of Patrick involve. And that means we always take the time to still align. 20 years, it's a long way, it's a long road. And individueel maatwerk enforces us to stay aligned. And that's important to us. Patrick has done a lot of different jobs in our company. He was never a gardener in our company, but it means everything changes, and we always look for possibilities to continue the job. Okay.
Thank you. And Patrick?
Yeah, think when there was not an organization like EMINO, my story was ook never there.
What advice would you give to others in a similar situation?
What very important is for the things. I hope the organizations see to the talents of people. The talents of the peoples, not see what are the disability or what you learn on the school, but what is the talent of the people. If you say to me 23 years ago, okay, you are now a garden, and 23 years later you go to ICT manager, I can say you are a little bit crazy. But it's possible to see to the talents, and I hope with my story, I hope every organization need a Patrick.
Thank you very much. And now the Q&A part. If someone of you wants to do some question now, if all is clear, you please. Okay.
Not a question, but can I finish my speech? Because I didn't have time to mention that our collaboration with actually what's the interventions as professionals we do with the employers depends on what we will agree upon with our trainee. And for many job positions, the people themselves must advocate for themselves what kind of job, what their program should be, their work schedule, their task, their goals, especially for positions that are very high and they have a very much scientific load. So the counselor is doing this, helps the person learn to advocate for himself, and is supportive to any changes that must be made. In other cases, we will go and speak with the HR, we will prepare, we will find the job, we will do the carving, we will find the colleagues, we'll set the stage, and then we will introduce the candidate, and at the end, a mutual agreement should be reached about how to go about feedback, what my work will be, so everybody will be responsible to go through and get the feeling of worth that they should have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question? Well, we are finishing, and I'm taking some notes and thinking. I think we can. The question is, what support do persons with disability needs work on the open labor market? What I heard is we are speaking about persons and unique persons, and we have to do tailor jobs, tailor everything. In fact, you know.
If I can add, carving has helped to change the culture in Malta, because the culture of the employer is that I've got a fixed job and you need to enter it with the right skills and the right shape and form. Whereas carving has allowed employers to see that you can move around certain tasks, create a new job, which is maybe simpler and would fit the person with disability that's in our database. And that allowed them to try out people with disability at the workplace, and it was a success. Employers then talk to each other, and success breeds success. However, carving doesn't work alone. You need flexibility from the employer. You need the initiative of wanting to employ someone with a disability. And you also need support at the workplace, which is something we provide hand in hand with job coaching. And that helps to change the culture and to open the minds of people who in the past wouldn't have gone ahead with employing persons with disability.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I think it's a good idea, and we can close here. Thank you very much to all. Thank you. Thank you. No, please. You want to say something?
Ο τίτλος του
Unless I'm wrong, this is about opening doors. This is a 2-day event on opening doors. Brain damage for a certain amount of time, or maybe long time, has shut the doors on self-esteem, on confidence, optimism, as far as I'm concerned. And I hope it shows the work that ELEPAP did was great. And it helped me open a new door. Maybe it shut the door on pessimism. It certainly shut the door on non-functionality. Sadness was gone. Maybe depression was also gone. But I managed to open the door because I was the one that opened that door. I opened the door on optimism, on working, on never giving up. And I'm still working on everything. I'm still working with my advisors. People are helping me out. Katerina Varotsi is still helping me out, and let me take advantage of the fact that I'm here to publicly extend my thanks to Katerina as well. So never give up. That's the gist of it. I'm telling everyone, never give up.
Well, with this optimistic point of view, never give up, we will continue in the next panel. Thank you very much.